don't discount the power that you guys have. You have a tremendous amount.
How do I tell other young people that?
I would think on Instagram. I would tell them on Instagram, but I don't know. This is the fight, man. No generation ever feels empowered or seen or any of those things. But what I would suggest is trust your discomfort, because you clearly feel it, but discomfort is a wonderful motivator. It's sort of the difference between stress and anxiety. Like, action is the antidote to anxiety. And if you feel anxiety, it will lessen as you take action. Small actions, like a little bit every day. I have young people that live in my house. And I usually see them after 3 when they've woken up. And generally they just want me to make them a bagel. So it's different. But honestly, like, that discomfort will spur you on. I'm sure of it. And your generation. And then you'll be in a position to save us, but you won't want to. You had a question about college campuses? Okay, so the cafeteria, if you want to go by the quad, you're going to look for the quad. Usually the food is near the quad.
I just wanted to ask some advice about navigating political landscape, especially during election season in college campuses and engaging conversations between people from my own.
Listen, the beautiful thing about college is that it's built for that. It's built for you to push the limits of who you think you are and who you think you want to be. And it's a wonderful experience. The thing that I would say to you is have the courage in the internal barometer that you've developed over the years for yourself about right and wrong, and don't necessarily just allow the conditions that you find yourself in to shape that. You're here for a reason, and you're that way for a reason, and be strong in that, and learn, be open to people, but be convicted. I think it's a wonderful experience for kids, and I don't worry about, Gen Z, they're so shut the up. It's every generation is like, that generation sucks. We were awesome. And I'm like, meh. I know my generation, like, we were doing whippets in 11th grade. Like, wow, that's a great question, and I really thought you were going to end it with what's a book. Because you get that a lot from the kids now. Sir, I have a question. What's a book? And I was going to say, it's like a movie you flip. I would say, so this may sound antiquated. I feel like I was raised on Kurt Vonnegut. And so any Kurt Vonnegut, I had the whole from Player Piano to Breakfast of Champions to Slaughterhouse-Five to, Mother, all of them. And he was my favorite author by far. And I felt like he educated me in the genre of optimistic, cynical humanism. Like the thing that you're talking about, how do you maintain? So he's a guy who was an author who came of age. He fought in World War II. He saw Dresden. That's what Slaughterhouse-Five was about. It was about his experiences seeing the worst that people could do. And people always mistook his cynicism or his, I guess I should say, his dryness as cynicism, but it was really idealism. He believed so much in people that he couldn't help but be somewhat disappointed that we were blowing it in the way that we were blowing it. But I would say line your desk with Kurt Vonnegut and you cannot go wrong. And I was lucky enough to get to interview him when he was, hadn't passed away yet. No, but he came on, and when he passed away, his son sent me, he was also a really wonderful caricaturist, sent me a doodle of his that he had inscribed to me before he passed. So it's one of my most cherished, but I would say Kurt Vonnegut, you can't go wrong. And like Playboy.
How do you maintain a sense of hope and levity when times seem. How do you keep laughing through all that?
Right. How old are you?
I'm 19.
19 years old, and the world's already beat the shit out of you. And it's always the young dudes that are like, I have a quick question. I'm 19 years old. When hope is gone, when the darkness slowly creeps down. I'm 61, so I'm already in injury time. So I'm good. I'm actually weirdly always optimistic. We go, I think maybe that is the horizon of history. I came up at a time in the 60s where we had all these great leaders and we killed all of them, every single one. And then we went to Vietnam and law, and then Watergate. Like, shit was just unraveling. So I do think it gives you a sense of, oh, it's always a mess. Like, and what that makes you realize is, oh, so it's just that's the game. We buckle down, you got to lunch pail it, and you carry it through. Like, you're 19, like, you'll someday when you're 61 and people will be saying, like, how do you maintain optimism? Be like, you have no fucking idea what it was like when I was a kid. Like, you will be that guy to be able to say, like, you think it's bad now? And obviously, look, it is. These are tenuous times, and maybe even we'll talk a little bit about that on the program tonight. Terrible times, thing. No, right? But because part of the issue is, like, you just want someone to talk to you like you're a human, like you're an adult, not like it's a work. Not like it's they're spinning you or any of those. And that's my biggest complaint with all of this. Nobody expects perfection. Everybody knows that the obstacles and all the things that are going to be thrown in front of us are going to be arduous. That's life. Like, life is hard, but you just want someone to not bullshit you when what you see and hear is what you see. Like, that's all that you can really do. But how do you maintain? So you're 19. So are your friends optimistic or pessimistic, or do they not talk about it, or are they just on Discord being racist? What is going on?
I think a lot of people are pessimistic. I mean, how do I maintain optimism?
Yes.
I try to laugh. I watch The Daily Show.
So here's the only thing I would say. I'm glad you do that. But really, we write it for 8-year-olds. So 19 is a little above our pay grade. But is it? I do remember 19, like that age. There is a certain existential anxiety that creeps in because the world does. Listen, it feels out of control. You probably know more about it now than we did when I think one of the things that's probably harder for kids now is the amount of information that you absorb is probably. But I would imagine hopefully your brains will evolve to, because when I was a kid, like, TV happened and everybody's like, don't sit in front of the TV and eat and just watch TV. And now you'd be so happy if your children would do that. Like, you'd just be like, don't send pictures of your dick to people. Like,
Are you having any fun? What you getting out of living? Who cares for what you've got if you're not having any fun? Have a little fun.
Last week I thought a very nice piece on the show about how Fox News wanted people to apologize for rushing to judgment on the Ferguson shooting of Michael Brown. And so we, I think, quite cleverly drew an analogy to that and their rush to judgment on Benghazi. It was really quite droll. Now, while Fox never addressed our Benghazi point, it appears now they're asking for more than an apology.
Pete Williams, to his credit, got that Boston Marathon terror reporting dead on. And the mainstream media hailed him as a hero for getting it right, which he did. Fox News got this case right. Fox News, not just me, Sean Hannity had a lot of segments, plus O'Reilly had a lot of segments urging caution. Would the mainstream media ever hail them as heroes like we heard about Pete Williams?
Yeah, why doesn't Fox get as much credit as who's Pete Williams? Anyway, the point is, it wasn't the first time they got it right.
I urged caution in the Duke coverage and in the Trayvon Martin coverage and now in this coverage.
That's 3 times. They got it right 3 times in 10 years. Those are solar eclipse numbers, people. Which I think is why it's recommended you only watch Fox through a tiny pinhole poked in a piece of cardboard. You can't look directly at Fox. It will indelibly burn your soul. While, of course, the whole rush to judgment complaint is bull, Fox is nothing but a rush to judgment in almost every situation. Okay.
You're the Caution and Sober Reflection Network. But my favorite part of the piece was after 10 minutes of complaining that no one would ever thank them, this.
If you are waiting for the mainstream media to say not only that we were wrong in this racially charged case that resulted in so much violence in that town, and to credit Fox News for being right, you're going to hold your breath a long time.
We don't care about them.
Right, you don't care. In the same way my mom doesn't care if I ever call. Sure, call or not, I could just sit here and die. But the point is you were right. And that is newsworthy when Fox is right. And cause for celebration. So to honor that time you were right, we got you a Fudgy the Whale. Because, you know why? We think you're a whale of a network. In that we've been chasing you our whole lives and just can't kill you. But that's not all, Fox.